Hello, and welcome into the Cashinbis show, where it's our mission to highlight the positive impact being made by successful entrepreneurs in the medical cannabis industry. I'm your host, Tim Strombel. This week, we'll be featuring Inda-Gro, a company dedicated to providing environmentally sustainable products that repeatedly enhance crop quality and yield while conserving precious energy and water resources in the process. Now let's find out more as I sit down with Darryl Cotton, the president of Inda-Gro.
So we're very excited. Our first guest to get this kicked off, the guy's name is Darryl Cotton. Yes, he is sitting right here.
Hello, Tim, and our audience. Thanks for joining us.
Of course, and as you can see, his company Inda-Gro on the t-shirt right there. I guess I should just let you intro it, because you'll do a better product description than I will.
Just thank you for having me, and I'm really honored to be your first guest. Cashinbis is a great company. I urge you to check their website out and see all their other interviews. There's some powerful, dynamic, influential people in the industry that they've had a chance to highlight, and I think these podcasts are going to be outstanding. So, a little bit about us. Inda-Gro is a San Diego company, and we manufacture induction grow lighting systems. And really what our mission is here is to create the most energy efficient products that use the least amount of water, that are most environmentally conscious and sustainable processes that get you clear, outstanding, repeatable crop responses. And that's not just cannabis, that's all your foods. But what motivates me and pays a lot of our bills is our lighting and our controls. So from that, we're able to do other things to introduce water savings products and cultivation methods that not only help the grower, but their families and their friends and their community by doing so. And we're honored to do that.
Now, you said a lot of sexy words in there that people are going to hear because it references the drought in California and stuff like that. And really, water conservation is a huge angle for you guys, I'm sure. Could you talk about what really got you thinking where we could recycle water, we could use fish to help us with that? Like, how did you come up with that idea and put it into implementation?
Well, thank you for going into the aquaponics side right away, because I've been gardening since the 70s and growing medical in our basements in the Midwest through the winters. And what we originally started out with was fluorescent lighting systems. That's all that we had in the late 70s. Early 80s, we started being introduced to high-intensity discharge lights, which what most people continue to grow with today are your metal halides and your high-pressure sodiums. But these are really energy inefficient fixtures, lights, lamps. They produce a lot of heat, and you're constantly having to replace them once a year at least, sometimes more. So as a grower and somebody that knows how much mercury and how much trouble it is properly recycling these things, we were looking for alternatives. What we have, though, is called fluorescent induction. Induction was something that Nikola Tesla came up with in 1891.
Sure.
And we're really excited to be standing on his shoulders. I think Tesla would have proved that we're using it to grow plants and that it's a very broad spectrum. It covers everything from its vegetative to its flowering state with one lamp. And guess what? These things go 10 years under warranty with the lamp and driver. And as a San Diego company and a gardener, I want to know that whatever we produce out there and we sell to people is going to be used for many, many, many years.
So before that, people would have to use multiple lamps throughout the grow, and then
they still
encompasses
do.
one?
Yeah, they still do. We have what's known as our vegetative lamps, which are the metal halides, and some fluorescents that are very high in Kelvin ratings. But then people have been programmed to change those lamps for flower and go to redder spectrums like your sodiums, when in reality, the broadest spectrum lamp out there is the sun.
Yeah.
And it doesn't distinguish between a vegetative and a flowering state. So plants over billions of years have evolved under the sun. And we saw, okay, as a broad spectrum, we can expect one lamp to take us from propagation all the way through flower. And in fact, that's what we have. There's certain things that we can do to improve spectra, and that's where we would introduce diodes. And inda-grow.com on our website, you'll see a product called Pontoon. And there are specific wavelengths that you can really enhance flower. Our Pontoon does that. And actually no sodium lamp hits these regions, no fluorescent lamp hits these regions. So using diodes to hit specific wavelengths just makes sense. And I think Tesla, had there been diodes around when he was alive, would have approved of that too. I mean, just the way this guy's mind worked, I think he was one with about free energy and improving mankind. And in such, we also found ways that we wanted to save water. And we looked back to the Egyptians. Back when they were moving water over hills and valleys and to remote parts of Egypt, they relied on different ways of moving the water, but they also relied on different methods of gardening.
Yeah.
So aquaponics was pretty much born by them, and it's the process of using fish, feeding the fish, and it's their waste that becomes the macronutrients for the plants.
Okay, so the fish is actually what causes it to be called aquaponics.
Correct.
So then what do you employ, how do you employ the fish here specifically to use it for your circumstances?
Well, as I said, Inda-Gro is a lamp manufacturer for grow lighting applications, but what we really wanted to do was have real-world gardens that we would trial our products in.
Okay.
And there was a lot of like-minded manufacturers that want to do the same thing and throw in and help us in our gardens. We try to identify inner-city projects where you just wouldn't consider it, garden-friendly.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're on asphalt and concrete, it's not like you're going to go in there and be tilling everything up and making rows of plants.
Yeah.
So the aquaponics can be ran on asphalt, on concrete, and you get the fish tanks going. Once they're established the proper chemical levels, and that becomes their waste, which they secrete ammonia, which immediately turns to a nitrite, and then it becomes a nitrate. Now, the plants take up the nitrates, so there's a symbiotic relationship.
Circle of life.
It's a circle of life. It's an ecosystem that you've created. And the bit of chemistry that's involved here is not difficult, folks. If you're a grower, you're already well advanced into these things. I would just say, looking at this from a standpoint of long-term sustainability, there's nothing better. The most organic gardens you'll ever grow are aquaponics, because if the fish survive and the plants grow healthy, then you've done it right.
By using the fish and going from fish to water to plant, it's not only certified organic, it has to be, you were saying, because there's no other step involved in that process.
That is correct, yes. And it's 95% less water is consumed in these systems.
Wow.
So what we normally have in like the Central Valley here, and any place where now we're undertaking mandatory water conservation measures, 36% here in California. This is basically arid land. It's really tough to grow here anyway, and the native crops are such that, fortunately they don't take a lot of water, but we're requiring of our crops that they take anywhere between 6 to 10 gallons of water per day.
Mm-hmm.
On some of these crops. With aquaponics, it's just a recirculating system of water. And the only time you lose water in those systems is from plant uptake or evaporation.
Did you always have the green thumb agricultural desire in your life? Or was that
I'm a
something
horrible gardener, dude. No, I'm more about the science of lighting. I really get off on the chemistry between the fish and the plants, but I'm fortunate I have a lot of people around me, and interns and postgrads and undergrads. These guys will come in here and just donate their time and their talents. It takes a wide variety of people and their skills to make these successful. And fortunately, those people are out there, and they're looking for projects like this.
To speak to strong competition amongst the industry, what do you think sets Inda-Gro and the product they offer apart from anyone comparable in the space?
Well, one, we're one lamp for vegetative through flower, and two, we do build everything here in San Diego, and we test it. We're actual gardeners, and offering a 10-year warranty on lamps and drivers means we're not in it for the relamp business, folks. Year 5, it's a prorated warranty, so if there's a catastrophic failure at year 5, if it was something to do with our lamp, we know you still got 5 years out of it, so we'll give you 50% off a new light. And that starts after year 2. At the bottom line is you're going to get 2 years completely covered. In most cases, and I've had guys on our lamps now for 5 years, if there's a minor component failure on the driver, we fix that in San Diego. We don't charge you, and we keep you up and running. So really important as a gardener that you don't miss a flowering or any cycle, part of the cycle. And we believe that it's an important function of what we do is to keep those lights out there working, grow after grow after grow for you.
Now, last question I get to before we're going to get you out of here, because I know you got a lot of stuff going on. What can we do? Where can we go to find you? Your social media or your website? Where can you direct us to?
Inda-Gro.com, and from there you can hit our Facebook, our YouTube channels. But again, we're here in San Diego, so if I happen to be talking to somebody in the Midwest and the East Coast, and it's November, December, you need a reason to come on, fly into San Diego.
You'll learn a lot.
Visit us. Come visit our gardens.
Yeah.
We're happy to have you. We do want more people to understand that successful gardening is within reach. And that's year-round crop production no matter what part of the country you're in.
And we're definitely going to be back with Darryl in the future. You got a lot of really cool things we want to talk about. We'll have you on future podcasts and future video stuff. Darryl Cotton, the president of Inda-Gro. Don't forget to check him out. And thank you guys on the podcast side and the video side for joining us on the first ever at Cashinbis Show. My name's Tim Strombel. This was Darryl Cotton. We will see you guys next time.
Thanks.